So let's talk new cars. We all love the smell of a new car. We all love the feeling of unwrapping plastic and peeling it off screens. But is it really worth it? After all, air fresheners and cling film are pretty cheap, so maybe that's not the only reason you should be buying a new car. The main reason I say this is this lovely thing called depreciation. Anyone who's a finance nerd like me, their brain has lit up right now. So depreciation is essentially the value any asset loses over time or use. And cars are one of the most severely depreciating assets you can own. They're not like houses at all, which tend to hold their value or appreciate very well, but completely unlike that, most cars, the second you drive them off the factory floor, the second you sign your name on the title, are going to be worth at least 10% less. Within a year, they're going to be worth even less. And, essentially when you get 10 years down the line, depending on what car it is, it could be worth 10% of what you paid for it, maybe even less. So, depreciation, as you can see by this handy little depreciation curve over here, is going to cost you a lot of money if you buy a new car. Over time, the money you've spent is essentially just going to disappear. It's just going to be a loss. And that doesn't include sort of the inevitable expenses that come with a new car. We're talking about maintenance, we're talking about running costs, the normal stuff like gas and insurance. Everything is costing you money as it would for operating a vehicle. Depreciation is an additional pain to that. So generally, if you want to avoid that, you'll be buying cars further down in age. And this is the benefit with buying used cars and older cars, is someone else has really paid the bill for that depreciation already. You don't have to worry about it because, it's taken care of. It's not your problem anymore. Your asset is not going to lose a lot of value. But not everyone's comfortable doing that. Cars can be nebulous and scary, and if you're not super into them, the idea of things going wrong is definitely an intimidating one. You don't want to be stranded on the side of the road, and no one really does. That's why AAA is huge. So, how do you solve this? How do you get a vehicle that's reliable and dependable, and it's going to get you to point B, and at the same time, it's not going to cost you a fortune in depreciation? Alright, pause. I'm going to pull this aside for a little quick side note here that we haven't mentioned yet. Financing. If you're buying a new car, you're much more likely to be financing it than if you're buying a used car, even if it is certified pre-owned. And financing is going to compound sort of the issue we're talking about here, because you're going to be paying interest. And depending on your deal, it could be quite a lot of interest. So you're now going to be paying interest on top of a depreciating asset. Financially, that is like the worst place to be. You will be losing money in two ways instead of one. And that, if anything, reinforces the case for buying a certified pre-owned or even a used vehicle at that point, because chances are, between the depreciation and the interest cost, you would be able to cover any unknowns and any maintenance issues that you can have with even the worst used car. And, take that with a pinch of salt, but generally speaking, when things go wrong, they do still cost less than what the bank is going to charge you for a loan. So, quick note there, don't forget that piece. So, the solution here, if you're not super into cars, you don't want to spend a lot of time fixing them like some of the us enthusiasts out there would do, what do? The solution really is a certified pre-owned vehicle. Now, whenever anyone comes to me with this question and asking me what they want to buy, that's the way I'll send them, is a certified pre-owned vehicle. And I say that for a few reasons. So, for one, depreciation. a CPO car is usually going to be at least 2 years old, and that means that the prior owner has eaten the majority of the depreciation that vehicle is going to see, at least in a short period of time. So, one, you're not going to be paying for that depreciation. Two, quality. These cars, especially if you buy them from a reputable dealer, have been looked over very well. They've been taken care of very well by the previous owner. So chances are, and especially if it's under 50,000 miles, the thing looks and feels just like a new car. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And really, that's a win. You are getting a high quality car that feels like new without that financial punishment that is depreciation. That's a huge win right there. Now, we can add to that a couple of bonuses. One, your CPO car is probably going to come with a warranty. This warranty is going to help you cover any sort of things that might go wrong, and if anything, it provides you a safety net. Honestly, I believe it's more of the latter. Most of us who have bought new cars have discovered that there are often kinks, especially if it's a brand new model. There are usually kinks that need to be worked out. So chances are you might find yourself spending some money addressing those issues on your own. If for whatever reason warranty doesn't cover them. And anyone who's bought a Cadillac after 2016, they will back me up here because they have paid for a lot of touchscreen replacements out of pocket, and that's not fun. Second little bonus we'll put in here is you're still staying in a fairly new car. If you want the latest technology, the driver assistance features, the infotainment, CarPlay, whatever it might be, you're probably going to be able to find it in a car that's only 1 or 2 years old, and it's probably not going to look any different to a car that you just buy today off the showroom floor. So really it seems like you're getting the best of all these worlds here. You're avoiding these costs while getting all the benefits, and that's essentially the way to go, in my opinion. Now, when is this not the case? I'd say there are a couple situations where that's not the case. One is future-proofing. Especially right now, we're in a big phase of transition to EVs and, higher standards for eco-friendliness. So a lot of areas and a lot of jurisdictions are imposing restrictions on what sort of vehicles will be allowed to operate in the near or distant future. If the ownership you expect for your new vehicle is going to overlap with that period, you might want to spring money for a newer vehicle that's compliant with those incoming regulations. Beyond that, the vehicle you're looking at might be one of those rare examples that you're expecting to hold or gain value. Now, I'm going to stress the fact that this is extremely rare. Usually you're only going to see this on cars that are over $250,000 in price and have some sort of rarity factor. Either the limited production run or they were invite only, something along those lines. And even then, the chances are the appreciation is not going to outweigh the cost of operation and maintenance for that particular vehicle. But that is an example worth considering. And that would be the sort of second exception that I put forth for this suggestion of always looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, even if you're not familiar with cars, you're going to be better off in a certified pre-owned car. You will have fewer issues and you'll lose less money, which means you can spend that money towards things that matter or investments that actually earn you money over time. You're really just going to be better off financially. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful. I feel like depreciation is one of those things that's not discussed enough when it comes to buying new cars, and I know quite a few people who have dug themselves into financial holes that are a lot deeper than they initially realized, just buying a new car without really considering or understanding the consequences thereof. So hopefully you don't fall into that trap. For more buying advice, and we have a lot of it coming up, click the subscribe icon, which is in one of these corners. And to see one of the other videos I've made in the past, click the video symbol, which should also be somewhere here. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one.